We are going to be brainstorming ideas for things in your life that bring you light and joy. So it's better if you can go quickly and just write everything that comes to mind without overthinking it. Don't edit yourself. Don't cut out things because you think they're too silly. Okay, so once you're done, our time's up, you're going to go through and you can choose 4 to 5 things. Maybe let's start with 5. It doesn't have to be your most important things. It can be your most important things, or it could be something that would be fun to draw, or maybe something that you would have ideas for. Let's go ahead and pick 5 to start with. Okay, I'm choosing a moon for sleeping because this is the die cut that we'll be using for our extruded forms. I'm going to choose the sun for my reading. My first object is springtime. That brings me joy, so I chose the sun for that, and I wanted to draw some flowers that remind me of springtime in the center. And that is called a representational object. So a flower is something in real life that represents springtime. Some of these will be non-representational, but the first one is representation. So to me, laughter is a little bit like bubbles and a little bit like a lightning bolt. And so I'm just doing abstract shape for mine. So since these are really just abstract shapes, this one is non-representational. So the third one is my sisters, and they're a little bit silly and funny and fun. So I think I'm gonna put actually just a whole bunch of stars in this big star to remind me of my sisters. And you can actually, if you want to try a few different designs, you can. And would actually probably be really good if you have time to try a few different things for the different, like I could try something else for this one, or I could do one star for each of my sisters and see how that would be different. I've got my sun that's been coated in slip. The slip is a little wet still. And I have my sketch, so I'm going to use these 3 tools to carve out what I like. For some things, I can actually use the tool to draw. It's still a little soggy, so I'm going to have to be a little careful. And I can tell as I'm carving this on that mine is going to look different than my design, and that's okay. But it's kind of hard to draw it that small as I did on this sketch, so mine flowers are going to be a little bit bigger. After working on the first one, I've decided to change my second one. Well, I'm working on the sun because that's all I had, but I'm still doing the star design for my sisters, but instead of covering it with multiple stars, I'm just putting 2 stars, one for each sister. My plan on this one is to outline the stars and then to carve away the negative space around where they are. To give it more visual interest, instead of leaving the stars a solid color, I'm just filling it in with a little dot. The glazing of these is going to be really pretty simple. You're going to gather your pieces and put them on a newspaper here at the glazing station, and then you're going to take your brush
and you're going to start coating over the top. You don't need to get the sides, and we definitely don't want to get the bottoms. We're just going over the tops of these pieces, so you can just get in there with your brush and get into any of those crevices. And if you had a hole in one, you want to make sure that that doesn't get clogged with glaze, or it won't be usable later. So if you did have a hole, as I had in this one, you can take the needle tool. Mine is fine, but if you end up getting some glaze clogged in there, just clear it out with this, and then you can wipe it off and keep that over there. And then you're just going to go through all your pieces until they're all glazed. We're just going to do 2 coats on these, and now that I've gotten through my first coat on all 3, I can go across and do the second coat. One thing you could do, which I didn't mention earlier, was if you have an area that you want to keep matte or not shiny, you want to keep it looking like, say on this one, if she had wanted to keep the middle, maybe she wanted the middle matte and the outside shiny, or maybe she wanted the outside matte, which is just like this, and the inside shiny, she could just glaze one or the other. So if you have an area like that where you kind of want to emphasize it by having it either shiny or not shiny, you could do that. So like I might have done that on this one and just had my star shiny and left the rest out.